When you learn something that you're really bad at, it humbles you. As you start to gain some confidence in it, it proves to you that you can learn anything. If you're learning new things about yourself, if you're exploring new parts of you, if you're picking up new things, you're gonna bring new energy to your business. A business is real simple. It's here to solve a problem in the marketplace. And you have to be very good at solving internal problems in order to solve external problems. When Abraham was sent to the mountaintop to possibly sacrifice his son, or he's told God to sacrifice his son, and he said he would obey. And then instead he sacrificed a lamb. After he sacrificed the lamb, he took the horn of the lamb and turned it into a trumpet. And so they say that this is the instrument of Abraham.
Very cool.
From the Bible.
So it looked like a horn to me.
Yeah, it plays music.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's quite powerful. This is more decorative, but I have a couple instruments upstairs that I practice, and it's part of my spiritual practices is to learn that. I love learning new things. I keep skills going in different areas where I'm absolutely suck at them outside of work, and that then stimulates me to learn new things to then bring that into work.
So you find that as like a tool to help keep you more mentally sharp overall, just learning new skills in general?
There's many different parts of us, and there's our creative side, there's our musical side, our kinesthetic, our body side, there's logical intelligence, there's linguistic intelligence, there's musical intelligence, there's body intelligence. There's people that have intelligence around nature, they just connect to animals, and that's a beautiful thing to watch. There's people that have intelligence around intrapersonal, like they know themselves, and then there's people that have intelligence around knowing others. And so there's so many different types of intelligence that we all have access to. When we get concentrated on just one, we become dormant or we actually regress in the others. So you want to try to have a learning plan that helps you activate all these different types of intelligences so that way you can truly know what you're capable of. And so the one that you tend to be the most deficit in is the one that I always recommend move toward. So if you suck at dancing, hire a dance coach. If you suck at athletics, hire somebody to help you with athletics. Because when you learn something that you're really bad at, it humbles you, and it also, as you start to gain some confidence in it, it proves to you that you can learn anything. The objective of leadership is just to become a learning machine. And if you can really do that, and you can develop practices that unlock new levels of learning and new categories of learning every day, then the compounded growth in that will just yield a lot of dividends down the road.
That's really good, because I'm in a phase in my life to where it's like work.
Yeah.
And work some more and keep working. And I also just got married, so then I want to really prioritize that and be an amazing husband. So what's your recommendation of balancing like that and growing the company, being an amazing husband, showing up every day, versus also going out and I'm like, man, I'm not good at dancing. So that hit with me. It's like if I'm going to go out and learn dancing, it's like putting time into that. And like, what are your recommendations? Do you feel it's important enough and high leverage enough to take time away from what otherwise would go to, let's say, working on the business, to then learn how to dance, or just a weak skill, and it's going to therefore improve the business further if that's the highest priority?
One, you always put the marriage first. So that's number one. And if you put the marriage first, the business will prosper. If you put the marriage second, the business will fail, and so will the marriage. Put the marriage first and the business will prosper. And that's a spiritual concept as much as anything else, because we're spiritually called to be in union with someone. First be in our relationship with God, then our relationship with our wife and our family, then the mission. And where a lot of us spiritual people get it wrong is we think that our mission is first, and it's not. It's actually like a distant third. It's first your relationship with your higher power, then your wife, then your kids or your family, then business. And so, you should ask yourself, are you tending to your family and to your wife to the best degree that you can and running a business? The question that you asked around the skills like learning to dance and how that benefits business, it all benefits the business, because if you're learning new things about yourself, if you're exploring new parts of you, if you're picking up new things, you're gonna bring new energy to your business. Like, I just learned to do a dance move. That newness, you may never share it with anyone, but that new skill that you obtain there is gonna create a fresh set of eyes. And now you're gonna look at things differently, because you'll have found out about a part of yourself that you didn't know existed. I'm learning to sing, and it was the hardest thing for me to learn. I practice with the singing coach twice a day, 5 days a week. It's the most magical thing that I've ever learned, and I certainly bring a new version of me to my team as a result of that.
When do you feel like, okay, now it's time for me to learn another new skill? Because that would probably put something else on the shelf, right? Like right now you're learning to sing, and you're also, you have your family life, God's first, the business. And so you can't keep doing that and then stack another skill without opportunity cost, right? Something else being taken away from. So how often are you going out and learning a new skill? Like you're learning singing right now, are you like, next year I'm gonna do this, or someone is it that regimented, or are you just kind of filling it out?
Yeah, there's different hobbies that I learned that develop me in other ways. And until I have obtained some degree of I don't want to say mastery, because I'll never be a master. I'll never be John Legend. You know, I'm not, that's not my objective. But I want to be as good at it as I possibly can. And I want to know that I've been able to develop the skill to the best of my ability. Now, my ability for singing is different than a John Legend's or Jennifer Hudson's. So when you see like a great singer, what I see is a black belt in singing, or a Jennifer Hudson is a 9th degree black belt in singing. And so will I ever get to 9th degree black belt in singing? Maybe not. Maybe I'll get to black belt though. And knowing that I'm a white belt right now, wanting to get to black belt is all I need to keep me motivated and growing. I don't seek out too many new things per year if I still have a lot of work to do in the core areas I'm mastering. But there might be a season where I say I want to call in new energy, so I'll call in a new coach, take some dance lessons, or might decide that in this season I want to go spend more time in nature. And I'm really just looking at the season I'm in, the skills I'm learning, the level of fulfillment and happiness I have, and then I'm calling in new things to try to shift that fulfillment and that happiness and always keep me in a beginner mindset.
What do you think are some of the most important components to cultivate a really great culture?
Some of the components to cultivate a great culture, and I first have to just start with philosophy. Your team is either training you or you're training them. So they will train you to solve their problems for them, or they'll train you to make their work easier and their lives easier, or they'll train you to not call them on the weekends or not call them in the morning, or and totally please them. Or you'll train them that this is the way we do business here. These are our values. This is our work ethic. This is what you can expect by working here. And they're either training you or you're training them. Now, the way you train them is you reinforce good behavior and you correct with kindness the bad behavior. And we all have good behavior and bad behavior. None of us are perfect, myself included, right? So I give my team permission, correct me. If I'm having a bad day, say, you look frustrated, like let me know, because I often can't see my own behavior and I need a team to reflect back to me what they're seeing. So that's how we do it. It's what we recognize and then what we correct that determines our culture. And you don't want to be the only person doing that in the company, because then you're constantly complaining about things. You want to make sure that your team is nurturing and being good stewards of the culture as well. That you can only get there if you're trained in these practices and principles, if you're aware of them and you're doing it intentionally. Most people's culture is not built intentionally, and so it gets away from you.
Yeah, Dan Martell I learned it from him, he calls it the 1-3-1 rule that we do in the company, to where you have one question, and then instead of your team constantly coming to you, it's like, hey, how do I do this, right? Because then it creates a cycle and a flywheel of them always coming to you. Yeah. And now you're the bottleneck because they're not learning how to think for themselves.
Yeah.
And instead, when they come to you with a question, you hit them with the 1-3-1 rule, and you're like, it has one question, and they propose 3 potential solutions, and then what they think is the best solution.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, they come up with the answer, and then they don't even need you anymore.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they still will send that to you, and then you better understand how they think through things, and also get a better taste of their judgment of if you would agree with that decision in the first place. And then if you do still provide an answer to them, it's just way more efficient for you. Like you already have it all lined out for you. So that's something that's been really helpful for us, that we've implemented company-wide. And then as our executive team as leaders do it, and it just goes top down from there.
That's a great framework. The way I would structure that is, a business is real simple. It's here to solve a problem in the marketplace. And you have to be very good at solving internal problems in order to solve external problems. First, you have, of course, your internal problem set that you have as a human being, and how well are you solving that? And then you have your team's problem set, and they're all a bunch of individuals as well, and how well are they solving problems together? And then you have the problems that you're solving in the marketplace, and people pay for you to solve their problems and to relieve the challenges that they face as a result of the pain that they're in by way of other products or other services. They're trying to do a similar job that you're trying to do. So by teaching people the principle that you talked about, it helps them learn how to become better problem solvers. That's one of the most important aspects of culture, is that your team should not be bringing problems to you without solutions, and they should be bringing to you options. And even though you might not choose one of their options, you want options. As a CEO, You want your team to be trained to bring you not the problem, but the solutions, and they can explain the problem in the context of the solutions that they're proposing, and then give you options. And that's what you train them at. When I've worked with very large companies, that's what I teach the executive team is, bring me the problem, the solutions, and then various options, and then we can make decisions together. Well-trained executives, they know how to do that. That's what they do. And they know how to present to CEOs and to other executives within the company in such a way to move very quickly. The speed of your ability to make decisions in a company goes down dramatically as you scale it. It becomes a virus, basically. You get decision fatigue as a founder. You know that there are unintended consequences to your decisions. So if you come to me and say, Ryan, let's launch a new product. As a founder, I know, okay, that's gonna affect this product, that's gonna affect this person. We have this thing going on. The board just said that I shouldn't launch new products this quarter. I've got all these different data points that make it very complex to say yes to you with that idea. And so it slows things down because as a founder, you have to weigh the unintended consequences of every action you take, and that can be very burdensome because there's so many unintended consequences to the actions that we take, and you're never gonna get it right. And sometimes you make the best decision in accordance with your values, and yet the unintended consequences make that a very bad decision. And you only find that out after the fact. And then that perpetuates an environment where you're hesitant to make more decisions, and then pretty soon you're stuck in decision paralysis because you pay a penalty for making decisions as you grow in the size of your organization.
So with that being said, do you have, as a founder, and as the company grows larger and larger, more and more decisions come to you, and you have so many data points, so many things to take into account when making those decisions. Do you have decision-making frameworks that you found to be very helpful?
Yes, very simple. Do I need to make this decision now is the first question. What are the unintended consequences associated with this decision if I make it? Give you an example. Let's say that you want to let go of a person, and one person wants to let go of them, and another person wants to keep them. Well, if we let go of this person, what are the unintended consequences that could occur by letting them go? Does that damage morale in their group? Is there some institutional knowledge that they may have that we're not aware of? Is there an opportunity to train them? What signal does that send to the rest of the group if we don't train them? There's 100 different unintended consequences with a simple decision like that. And so I always just evaluate the unintended consequences of each decision. Having made a lot of decisions and learned that there are some ramifications that are not calculated in the decision process, I then advise my clients and my team on the unintended consequences that I'm seeing. Then once you've factored in all of those and you've calculated the risk of the decision and you're taking a calculated risk, then you take it, and sometimes you're gonna get it right and sometimes you're gonna learn.
Love that. Yeah, do you know Keith Cunningham?
I don't.
So Keith Cunningham, he's the proclaimed rich dad from Rich Dad Poor Dad. And worth a lot of money, has coached a lot of people as well. And he has a decision-making framework of what's the upside, what's the downside, and can I live with the downside? And he talks about how a lot of entrepreneurs are excessive optimists. And so we always are looking at the upside of making decisions and situations, taking big risk, but many times we don't calculate the downside. And then take it further and can I live with the downside as well, to have you just envision the realities of the possibility of what that could look like as well.
That's what I'm doing with the unintended consequences. I'm calculating the downside. And there's a lot of, for example, if you have 3 products and you add a 4th, well, that doesn't seem like a big decision. That can totally destroy your company because your team now has to learn how to sell 4 things, and selling 4 things is an order of magnitude harder than selling 3 things. And so now learning to sell the 4th thing stops them from selling the other 3 things that they're very good at. There's a lot of different unintended consequences to each decision that we make that, sometimes we learn after the fact. I tried to do my best to try to be proactive with that and then walk through all the ones that I see, have them come up with the ones that they see, have them go to their team and bubble up a list of all the unintended consequences that their team sees, and then make the decision accordingly, de-risking the major consequences that could occur. And oftentimes, some of those things that we are de-risking just isn't the way we roll it out. So for example, 4 products, if rolled out correctly, can be absorbed by a team. If rolled out incorrectly, going from 3 to 4 can slow down everything. But the way we communicate, the way we train, the way we sequence them, message them, market them, all of that being done in a very detailed, methodical way can reduce the risk of the complexity, causing a delay or causing some sort of degradation in the efficiency of the operation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, help boost this video. I want to get the word out about my work, and I could use your help. Thank you so much, and God bless. you want to learn more about how I help entrepreneurs scale their businesses and the work that I do with regard to culture, I'm offering an hour of my time to 8-figure entrepreneurs scaling to 9 figures, or if you're a 9-figure entrepreneur scaling to 10, I'd be happy to talk to you for an hour where we can dive into tactics and strategies on culture or anything else that you're up against as an entrepreneur scaling. It's on me because I want to meet people doing big things in the world, and I want to share with you what I'm up to as well. Go ahead and click on Learn More, book your time, and I look forward to meeting you.